Are you a candidate for marriage? Whenever we ask ourselves these questions about life, it is always important that we go back to the Bible. And specifically, we go back to the origin of life, the origin of man and union with the woman, and what was God's plan from the very beginning. As we all know, God had a plan with man and woman, but then man sinned and fell from God's presence, from God's glory, and that is why we see all the chaos we have nowadays. So God had to come up with another plan in order to save us from this whole tragedy and to save us from all this sin. And that plan was Jesus Christ, which then restores us back to the original plan of God. So we focused on the book of Genesis in this teaching, in chapter 2 specifically, where before even the woman was created, God was working with Adam. And God gave Adam instructions. First thing God did was put him in God's presence in the Garden of Eden. In other words, he was in a place where God could communicate with him and have fellowship with man. This is where most men are failing today. If you want to be someone who wants to get married, you need to be someone who is constantly in God's presence, where God can talk to you, correct you, teach you, and guide you. If not, please stop chasing getting married. And if you are married and you are not in God's presence, then don't be surprised if your marriage is not working out, if you are jobless, if you have no vision for the future, and if everything is one problem after another. You need to get back to God's presence. In Genesis chapter 2, verse 15 to 19, we see this interaction with man, where first God takes Adam and puts him in the garden, which is God's presence. Then God gives him work, which is to plant seeds and plant things and to take care of the garden and to be vigilant and to have a vision for taking care of the garden. Dressing it, that means you take out the weeds, you plant things properly, you plant and replant with a vision of how things will look, what fruits you want where. All these things have to be done. And then once that was given to him, then God gives him the law. You cannot eat from this tree. You can eat from everything else, but not from this one specific tree, because otherwise you will die. So then at that point, man receives the law of God. So you are in God's presence. You are being productive, means you're working with your hands and producing something for yourself to eat. Then you are being vigilant and planning for the future. Okay. And then last but not least, you get God's commandments. You get God's moral law. God tells you what is right and what is wrong, and you stick with it and you obey it. Now God says, it is not good for this man to be alone. It is not good for this man, once he's in my presence, once he's working, once he is being vigilant and has a vision for the future, and once he's keeping my commandments, now I can bring someone into his life who will help him with all these things that I have told him to do and obey. You get it? If you're not doing these things, stop chasing marriage. You are destroying only your life with the person you marry. And you've already married, you need to get back to God's presence. Stop chasing the blessings and start being with the one that will give you all the blessings. This is what people have backwards. It is the men of the house who have to lead the family into the presence of God. Now, if you are not a Christian, you don't know Jesus Christ, then none of this applies to you, and none of what you are doing can be corrected, because it is only through the power of Jesus Christ, through the correction of the words in the Bible for those who are following Jesus Christ, that these things will start to work in your life, and these things will start to transform not only your life, but the life of your family. So seek his presence above all things. If you're a woman praying for your husband, stop praying for his prosperity. Stop it. If he is not in God's presence, that prosperity is futile, that prosperity is fake. It will only bring you more problems because it will not be from the Lord. You have to start praying for your husband to be in God's presence constantly, desiring it. And when he leaves God's presence, he takes God's presence with him wherever he goes. This is how it needs to work. This is how it will work. This is the only way it will work towards your benefit. So pray for your husband if you're praying that he will start to be the one that leads your house as a priest, as someone who wants to be constantly in the Garden of Eden, in the presence of the Lord, and you will see your life and your family be transformed. And if you want to get married, well, if you're not in his presence, you should not even attempt to find a spouse. And if you're a woman looking for a man, just look for one who is always in God's presence. That's the key, and that's what works. Anything outside of that, you're on your own. So God bless you with this, and continue with us in this series as we are going to also go deep into the value of the woman in a man's life and how much women still don't understand their value. And that is why they don't get much done in their lives once they get married. So stick with us. God bless you.